Well, right now we're recording in the evening. So good evening, everyone. I hope you are all doing wonderful and brilliant. Welcome to the program Na Ajilik Wajo in conversation with. The idea of this program is to have conversations with some of our knowledgeable colleagues and knowledgeable or elders about aspects of the Ga and the Dangme culture. And today we have Tamatey Otu, who's going to have a conversation with us and tell us everything about the Dangme naming ceremony. So today, can you just introduce yourself so we can start the program? And then I have a few questions for you regarding the Dangme naming ceremony.
Yo, ihanye chope mabahe keba program nom. Inyi mimi ndangwe li chope nganye he nehe ninyi efe ninyi Germany, ninyi England, Italy, Holland. Ihanye chope babahe keba program no wakase wani. I'm welcoming all Krobos, all Dangmes all over the world to this program. All Dangmes in Germany, Italy, Holland, England. I welcome you all to this program. My name is Isaac Tamatey Otu. I'm a Krobo from Odumase Krobo, and I'm the chairman of the Krobo Youth and Advocacy Group, Kloma Hengme. So today we are coming to learn about some interesting topic in Krobo naming ceremony. In Krobo, we call naming ceremony beer wom. Beer wom. Beer means naming, and then wom means giving. So beer wom. It's going to be an interesting topic and very educative. And I want all of you here to come together so that we learn about our Dangme naming ceremony.
Thank you very much. So the first question I have is, if a name is not important, then there's no need for a ceremony. So can you tell me what is a Krobo name and why is it important?
Okay, naming ceremony in Krobo is very, very important. In Krobo, if a baby is born and it's not named, it is not seen as a human being. So that baby is referred to as it. That is it. Until the baby is named, it's not referred. It's not seen as a human being yet. So, I mean, that baby that is born, but it has no naming. It is in a transition between the living and so it has to be named. So the first importance of naming ceremony in Krobo is that it makes one a human. Okay, it's the naming that makes the baby, the newly born baby, a human being. Without a naming, you are never seen as a human. So naming is important, one, because it makes the baby a human. It's that the name that makes you a human. Then number two, it serves as what? An identity. Identity. The names identifies you. So when they mention your name, when you are named and they mention your name, people are able to identify which tribe you are from, which family, which lineage, and which clan you are from. So it gives you an identity. Okay, in Krobo, some names are given to children. I mean, they use ancestral names to name children. Ancestors that have lived good life, they were prosperous and they were iconic in society. When they die, we name the newborn after them so that their legacy will linger on forever. So the third importance of naming is that it serves as a legacy, okay? To, I mean, preserve the name of an important person who lived before in society, or to make sure that an ancestor who once lived in the Krobo society or in your family, who lived well, who lived an exemplary life, we make sure that we preserve the name. So the third one is that it serves as a legacy or a preservation of an important person who once lived in the family. So these are the three main importance of naming ceremony in Krobo.
Thank you very much for clarifying. So it cut off when you were saying it, but I just want to clarify whether this is the case. You were saying that when a Krobo person is born, if it doesn't receive the name, they're not considered human. Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
And they're seen to be in transition between the living
and the dead.
Okay.
It's in a transition between living and the dead. So at that time, it's not seen as a human being.
Okay.
until the baby is named.
So if a baby dies before it receives the name, what happens then? Is it still considered to be a child
The
that?
baby, before we receive the name, as I told you, once the baby has not received a name, it's not a human.
Mhm.
So if it dies without naming, then I mean, it's just the baby was just a visitor who came visit us and has gone back to the ancestral world. As
Mhm.
I told you, every baby in Krobo is seen as a transition between the living and the dead. So if the baby comes and the baby is not named and he dies, then it's not a human being. We just had a visitor who came to visit us and has gone back again to the ancestral world.
Okay. So when does the baby get named?
In Krobo, the earliest you can name a baby is after the 8th day.
Mhm.
It's after the 8th day. You can't name the baby on the first day, second day, third day. In fact, when the baby is born, both the baby and mother are confined to a room. You are not supposed to go out. You are not supposed to go out to the public. You are supposed to stay indoors.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. So, and people are not supposed to see you yet. Maybe only your immediate family, husband, your mother's parents can see you and the baby.
Mhm.
But the outside is supposed to see the baby. So it is after F day before we name babies in Krobo.
Mhm.
However, if on the 8th day you are not ready, you can name the baby at a later time. It could be a month, could be 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, but make sure that it should be after the 8th day.
Okay. So when you say if you're not ready, is it like if the mother's not well? What? Why would you not be ready?
Yeah, you see, naming, you have to prepare. No, both families, I mean, the family of the man and the woman will come.
Mhm.
So you have to prepare yourself, maybe in terms of food, drinks, to cater for them, because it's a merrymaking event. Let me ceremony in Kobo or in Dangme are merrymaking events. So they cannot come and be hungry and be sitting down. You have to prepare.
Mhm.
Okay, and you need the man to. There are some compulsory items you have to present as a father before the naming can be born. I mean, you have to present some drinks, okay, and um, a cloth and those things.
Mhm.
So both the husband, the mother, and the baby must be prepared. Like you are saying, I mean, the mother must be well. The mother must be, because after giving birth, you see, the mother goes through a lot.
Mhm.
Sometimes may not be able, the mother may not be even able to walk well,
Mhm.
or may have some sores. So you must make sure that I mean, everybody is well physically, psychologically, and financially before you embark on the naming ceremony.
Okay. Okay. So can you basically tell us what happens in terms of the process from when the child is named, but from the eighth day, the morning of the eighth day, what happens? What's the name? Like how do Krobo people name children?
Yeah. So on the 8th day, I mean, early in the morning, we Krobos will name our children, or Dangmes will name our children early in the morning. Early in the morning. I mean, so early in the morning, I mean, before the day, both the husband will have to inform the family, both families, the husband's family and the woman's family, and the community of your naming. That's the first thing that you must do. There must be information that should be sent out. Then early in the morning, both families and the community, the family will come, and then they will gather in the house of the man, in the man's house. Uh-huh. It must be named in the man's house or the man's family house. That is, if the man marries the woman.
Mhm.
If the man marries the woman, the naming ceremony must take place in the man's house or his family house. But if you have not married the woman, the child doesn't belong to you, the man. It means that it is the family of the woman that will name the child.
Mhm.
Uh, Maybe we'll come back to that one.
Okay.
So, um, I mean, to name a child, I mean, a key person is needed. We call them a wimdede, a woman in the house, a first female born in the house called wimdede, who has lived an exemplary life. Okay, and um, he will put the baby on the lap, and then um, he will first dip his hand into water and put it on the tongue of the baby 3 times. This has a meaning. Then we have an aspect called la mommy. Okay, la mommy. Before I come back to the la mommy, let me say that after the elderly woman, okay, an elderly woman, an elderly woman, firstborn child, okay, in the house. The day in Krobo means, I mean, first female born, okay. It's not everybody who can do that, but women in the house who have lived exemplary lifestyles and have good character, they will do that. So they will name the baby. So they'll put the baby on the lap. They'll put the baby on her lap, and then it will name the baby. Okay, it will name the baby. Then that one is not enough. There must be a seal on the name that is given. There should be something that will seal the name. So in Krobo, we call something lamomi, that they will tie it on the wrist of the baby. Okay, this lamomi contains 3 beads. We have one tovi, we have one nyoli, and we have one koli, and they will string these 3 beads on a raffia fiber, a raffia fiber. We call that raffia fiber this thing low way, okay, low way. That low way is what you string the beads on it. That are 3 beads, okay. I said the name of the beads once again is what Tovi, Nyoli, and Koli. Then you put them on the low way, and that's what you used to tie on the wrist of the baby. We call this ceremony La Mummy ceremony. La Mummy. I mean, Mummy means tying and La. Okay. So we call that La Mummy. That La Mummy serves as a seal on the name that is given. So after the name is given, then the family head or an elderly mind of the family would then pour libation to inform the ancestors of the event and the name given to the child, and for the ancestors to bless the child so that it will make the child to live long and be prosperous in society.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So, if I understand, you have to seal the name of the child. If the name of the child, and you would do this with the 3 beads.
Yes.
And the raffia tied around the wrist of the child. Without this being done, the name is not official. Is that correct?
Yes. It's not sealed.
It's not sealed. Okay. And why is it important to seal the name of the child?
You see, everything that you do, you must seal it. And everything that you do, you have to seal it. Even if you say a prayer, you have to seal it by saying amen. Whatever you do, you have to seal it. Okay. Just by, you see, I can see any child at all on the street and name the child that, oh, you are this. Okay. But in Krobo, after you give the name to the child, you must seal it. And that's what we use the la to seal it, la mom to seal it. These 3 beads have a meaning. Okay. And that's why it is used to tie the wrist of the baby. I told you we have black, white, and blue. The black is called tovi. Okay. The black bead is called tovi. The white bead is called nyoli. And the blue bead is called koli. Okay. The black has a meaning. It means that the world is full of evil. So as you, the baby, you are coming to the world, you should know that the world is full of evil. The world is full of sorrow. I mean, there are a lot of difficulties in this life. This life is not that rosy. So as you are coming to life, you should be careful and you should be watchful of evil. You should be careful of sorrow. Life is not all rosy. So that's what the black means. It means there's darkness, there's sorrow, there's sadness, and life is not rosy. So as you have come to the world, you should be careful, and should be watch out, and should prepare for all these things.
Okay.
Then the white bead called Nyoli, okay, the white bead called Nyoli. I mean, it signifies what? Victory. It signifies achievement. It means that though there's sorrow, there's darkness, there's evil, if you work hard, you will always be victorious. You will always have great achievement. You will always have joy in life.
Mhm.
Okay. Then the blue in Krobo, that blue bead, we call it Koli. In Krobo, Koli is one of the most expensive beads in Krobo. When
Mhm.
you see a Dangme man or a Krobo man or a Dangme man who has put on Koli, it shows that that person is very expensive and the person want to look gorgeous, expensive. So the bead, that bead is attached to it to tell the baby that you are, hey, you are precious to the family and the families adores you. So grow and come and make yourself precious to the family. Grow
Mhm.
and come and be somebody um, of high caliber. Grow and become and come and be somebody great and precious and listen to the family.
Mhm.
Okay, these are the three meanings.
Mhm.
The black signifies evil, sorrow, and evil spirits and darkness. The white signifies victory, great achievement, joy. And the blue is telling the baby that we adore you so much. You are very expensive for us. And we expect you to grow and also become somebody expensive to the family. Grow and become somebody of this thing, of a great person in future. Grow and become somebody who the family can rely on and can be proud of. Okay, so these three beads together on the hlowe. The hlowe is a brown raffia fiber.
Mhm.
It protects the child against evil spirits.
Mhm.
Okay, it has power that protects the child against evil spirits.
Okay.
So put all these three beads on that hlowe, that raffia fiber, and tie it on the wrist of the child.
Mhm.
And this ceremony is what we call Lamomi ceremony. We are tying it on your wrist to seal on the name. It means that from that day onward, nobody can change the name. That name is what has been given to you and to stay on you forever. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So
So,
that's the mhm,
so the lamb warming, and once they've done that, what happens
mhm.
afterwards?
Once they've done that, it means that the name take a stay on you. That's your name.
Mhm.
And the la will stay on your wrist till it itself loosens away. The la has to stay on your wrist for a number of days until it itself loosens on your wrist. That's it.
Okay. So, in terms of the naming ceremony, once that part of the naming ceremony is done, is there another aspect to the ceremony, or does it end there?
Then after that one, the family head, after they done the lamomi, put seal as a seal on the name, the family head will now pour libation.
Mhm.
Okay, pour libation and inform the ancestors of the name that has been given to you, and to inform them that a new member has joined the family, and to call on the ancestors to bless the child and to
Mhm.
protect the ancestors, to protect the child from evil spirits
Mhm.
and power of darkness.
Mhm.
Then after the point of libation, then there'll be a lot of clamor,
Mhm.
dancing. Okay, there'll be a lot of music and dance. In Krobo, when we are happy, when Krobos are merry, they perform clamor
Mhm.
and they dance. They beat the depot, the god. That's the depot god that they play during depot, and the women will dance the clamor,
Mhm.
and the 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 mother, if she knows how to dance the clamor very well,
Mhm.
she can get a lot of money because as she's dancing, a lot of people will come and be throwing money on her head, on her neck, and the mother too can move from people to people, sit on their laps, and the mother they will give her more money, especially if she knows how to dance.
Mhm.
Why this? So there'll be merrymaking, there'll be jubilation, there'll be singing and dancing, and I mean, then there'll be serving food and drinks. There'll be a lot of food to eat and drinks to take to drink,
Mhm.
and there'll be a lot of merrymaking. There will
Mhm.
be dancing. You can imagine the women singing and playing the depot god, the depot drum, the depot god, and dancing Kloma. And it's very nice and exciting. Yes, and it's one of the merrymaking events in the life of the Krobos and the Dangmes.
Thank you. So, you know, when you was talking about the tying of the lamomi, I know I'm saying it, most likely saying it wrong, but when you tie it, can anybody tie it, or does it have to be a specific person?
That's what I tell you. The only person who can tie that one is the elderly female born. The elderly female born. We call them Wim Dede. Wim means
Even if the
house.
child is a boy. So if the child is a boy, it's still tied. So in the case of whether it's a boy or a girl, it's always tied by the elderly woman in the family.
For the elderly woman in the family, Wim Dede. You have to get a Wim Dede to do that activity, to name the baby. A Wim Dede will have to do that one. So it's an elderly woman, the first female born to tie it. And that woman must be of good character and must be well groomed. Because it's assumed that the baby is likely to take after that person. So if the woman that will do that is the character is questionable and this thing, I mean, we assume that the baby is likely to take after after that woman. So the woman must be of good character, must be somebody who is well respected and also respect people and has no record of any bad character.
Mm-hmm. So if I understand correctly, so with the naming ceremony, so they go to the father's family house, they take the child there. That would be the first time that the child has actually left the house, because the first 8 days, the mum and the child have to stay indoors. So they first leave the house, they go to the family house. Once everybody is seated, the first lady, the Awim Dede,
Yes.
then take the child and tie the raffia around the child's hand. And then they will pour libation and basically alert the ancestors that we have a new addition, bless this child, look after this child. And then from then on, then there will be Klama dancing, and the mum could go around dancing Klama, expressing her joy. I've seen the Klama dance, I find it extremely elegant. And they'll be giving her money and basically celebrating her for adding this addition to the family. Have I listened very well?
Yeah, you listen very well. I mean, I have to add that, as I'm saying, if you marry the woman, if you marry the woman, then it's you, the man, that will do the naming. Uh-huh. And it should be done in the man's house. Or if the man is not having his own house, then it should be done in the man's family house. If you have not married the woman, maybe a woman is just your girlfriend, or you are cohabitating, or the woman is staying with you, you have not married her. Whatever child you give the woman, that child doesn't belong to you, the man. It belongs to the woman and her family. So the naming will be done by the woman's family, okay, by the woman's family, the woman's father. That's your woman's father, the woman's family.
So would the name come from the woman's family line?
Yes, the name will come from the woman's family line. Once you've not married a woman, it means that the child is not for you.
So if you marry the child, if you marry the man later,
if you marry the woman later, then you have to the lamomi, you have to do lapomi, you have to cut that seal. You have to cut that seal, that seal. If it's a woman's family that named the child, then it becomes a maternal seal. You have to cut that maternal seal away. And we call that ceremony lapomi. Okay, get the two well. Lamomi means tying of la, and lapomi cutting of la. So if you marry the woman later, you have to do the lapomi for the child to also become yours. You have to do lapomi for the child to also become yours. So that one, you have to go and see the family that you want to come and take your child, and your wife agrees. Once your wife, definitely she will agree. Once she agreed for you to marry her, she will agree. But you have to go to the woman's family, and you present a sheep and 2 snaps and some amount of money. Okay. And then, I mean, the lamomino, you have to cut it away. When you cut it, it means that you have cut that maternal ownership from the child. Then now the child belongs to you, and you can rename the child in your family name or in your family lineage. Are you getting me?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Another question I had is that earlier on you mentioned that when you're doing the naming, it's the responsibility of the man to provide the items. What items does the man have to provide?
As a man, you have to present two gin, alcohol, gin. Then you provide a cloth, a big cloth. The big cloth is what we use to wrap the baby, a big cloth. Then some amount of money. It could be 20 cities, 50, 100, amount of money. So these are the three things you present. Then you also present soft drinks to officially, I mean, give it to the people to drink. Soft drink. That one is even from, if you want to do a refreshment, that drink is even from the refreshment. It's also important to mention that if you don't have money to do the refreshment or provide food, it's not compulsory. It's not compulsory. Your naming, you should serve food and drink. No. That one is optional. But the main thing you have to provide is 2 gin of alcohol, a cloth, a big cloth, okay, and some amount of money. And also some a drink, soft drink, so that they can share to the people that come. Yeah, these are the main requirements.
And I realized when I was summarizing, I missed something slightly. I wanted to go into a bit detail. You mentioned that they put water. One of the first things they do is they put water in the baby's mouth.
Yes.
Why do they do that?
They have to first introduce the baby to water. You know, water is life. And once they give birth to you and you are alive, it means that you have life. So they have to first put water in your tongue 3 times to introduce to water. Water, and life is all about water. So that's the first time. Yes. So you have to be introduced to water. So that's the essence of it.
Okay.
That's the essence. Water is introduced to water.
And when they do it on the tongue 3 times, is there do they say anything during that time? Is there a prayer read or?
Yes. When the Wemdede is putting the water in your mouth, there are things that she says. She will say, "This is water we drink. Wanyu ne wanu jino ne o. This is water we bath. Wanyu ne wadu jino ne o. This is water we use in washing. Wanyu ne wakafonia jino ne." Okay, so as it's doing this, we'll be saying these things to tell you about water, how water is life, and the importance, some of the important things that we will do with water. Yes, that's it.
Okay. So, and is it the same ceremony if you have twins?
Yes, if you have twins to the same ceremony.
Okay.
The same, that there'll be 2 lamomi. That will be done.
So in essence, the Awemdede, the elderly woman in the family, is almost like the central figure in the naming ceremony.
In naming ceremony, and also in marriage ceremony too. Awemdede is required. The other day we discussed about marriage ceremony. I told you that during the fiapemi, is that one too here. The seal comes there. The seal of the marriage. We need a Awemdede, 2 Awemdede, one from the man's family and the woman's family, to perform the fiapemi. So in Krobo, Awemdede is very, very important in many of our traditional aspects. They're very, very important. Yes, in most of our culture and tradition in Dangme and Krobo.
Okay. And so the Awemdede also is the one that, just make sure it's from the father's side, right? So it's they would, when they're doing the naming ceremony, they're looking for the Awemdede from
the side.
Yeah.
The man's side, yes. That is if the man marries a woman.
If not, then it will be from the woman's side.
Woman's family, yes. Because the naming ceremony will have to be done in the woman's home, the woman's family home. Father, the woman's father that will name it. Once the woman has not been married, whatever child that is born belongs to the woman's father.
Mhm. I understand you. So I'm just going to test to see if I understand this correctly, and you could give me marks based on what I've remembered. So the naming ceremony in the Dangme culture is done on the 8th day. That's the earliest it can be done. Before this time, they see the child as somebody who's transitioning between essentially life and death, the land of the living and the land of the dead. If they don't receive the name before this time, if they don't receive the name and they pass away, it basically means they were a visitor on this plane and they've now returned back to where they came from. If they do live to the 8th day, early in the morning, the child will be taken to the patrilineal home or the father's home, where a Wemdede, a firstborn female from Krobo land, will now basically assume the central role of the ceremony. And the ceremony consists of putting water on the child's tongue 3 times to let the child know, because water represents life, and it's almost like a blessing. This is the water we bath, this is the water we eat with, etc. Once that is done, they tie a string onto the child's wrist. And the essence of this is to let the child know about the evil that's in the world that they have to be aware of, but not be part of. That the child will be victorious. That's the black one. The white one is about victory. The child will be victorious. And then there's the blue one, which is the most expensive bead. And that is essentially saying that this child is precious to us. May the child grow up to be of value to the community. And it will be tied on the wrist of the child, and that seals the name that is given to the child. And that you don't take it off. It's only up until it falls off by itself, but that seals the name of the child and makes it official. After this point, then there's joy and merrymaking with the traditional Klama dance and Klama music, and the mum can go around being celebrated and sprayed with big money.
Yes, yes.
Have I passed the exam?
You have done so well. You have done so well. I'll give you 9/10.
9/10. Oh, what did I do wrong for? Okay, did I miss the one about if the woman doesn't marry the man, then the woman is named, then the child belongs to the woman, and they will be named according to the woman's side of the family. And that child, and then a Wemdede will then come from the woman's side of the family, and as a result, will receive the name according to the woman's father's line. Do I get 10
Yes.
out of 10 now?
I'll give you 10/10 now. You have done well.
Thank you very much. So in that case, that's the summary of the amazing Dangme naming ceremony. And I'm going to put some information in the description box if you're watching on YouTube, where you can see a picture of what this bead de la Mormi looks like, so you have an understanding of the ceremony itself and the images. I'll put the link down below, but I'll also put links to Tamatey's Krobo Advocacy group, so you can follow what he's doing and support him, because he's doing a lot for the Krobo people. Now, before we end this program, Tamatey, is there anything you want to say to the Dangme people, especially if those who want to practice the naming ceremony, where they're from, what would you advise? So if I, as a Dangme person, marry a Dangme man and I have a child and I can't get home, can you advise us what we can do at home to make sure that our child's name is given and is sealed?
Yeah, you see now, because of Christianity, people prefer to name their children in the church, where the pastor names them.
Mm.
So many people now do not go by this tradition. So if you are outside Dangme land and you want to do the naming and you are Christian, you can allow your pastors or your church to do it for you. But if you still want to do it the traditional way, in every community you have a Dangme community there or Gang community there. So, and those community, I think we have elders there. So they will take up the naming of the children. In Dangme land, in most of the European and abroad, we have Dangme communities there, or Dangme communities there. So, I believe you can get elders among them that will help you to do the naming ceremony and the Wimdede to do it.
Okay.
So if you're outside Ghana and you want to do that, then you have to follow the Dangme community or Dangme associations there or to do the naming ceremony for you. If you're a Christian, you can equally allow your pastor or church to do the naming for you.
Okay. Oddly enough, I know we're supposed to be finishing, but you've brought up a very important point that I want to ask you about. what are your views of people abandoning the traditional naming ceremony and having their children named in the church?
You know, I think that we are gradually losing our way as Dangme and GaDangme people. We are losing our way because the traditional naming to me is the best. Okay, is the best. That's custom or tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Naming the child in the church, well, it's about the faith of people. I cannot condemn it, but the naming, if you ask me, it should be done traditionally. Then you can go to church to give thanksgiving to God if you're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And go to church to give thanks to God. You have to do the traditional naming, then you go to church to. So if you ask me, I prefer the naming ceremony in the traditional way. I have 3 kids. All of them have done the traditional naming ceremony for them at home. Yes. I have videos of them. I'll share them with you. I mean, the recent one I did was in December 2020, just recently. I'll share the pictures of them with you. Yes.
Okay. So as we close, do you have a message that you'd like to share with the Dangbe people? Please do share.
Okay, please, give me a minute. Let me put my phone in charge.
Okay.
Okay, let me put it in charge right now.
No worries.
Okay.
So, what would be your message to the Dangbes around the world? What would you like to say before we end this program?
Jike we chepe in mango bronya tom no magari nya ken chepe ni lo ni luanye ni bawe ni badangbe comme no ojekulo bakulo no jada se ningo pran pran po ni bawe o chepe wakedra dangbe ma ila ne nyele kan bakusimiome chapi wo bakusimiome jini ne epio wo dangbe cheme epio wo gan dangbe lo mapa yepe ni joba kusime mi ka wo lo no ko ne semu no ko ne hi wa kusime mi jini ko mana e cho wa be cheme ape nice. Okay, I want to use this opportunity to urge all my GaDangme brothers. Okay, if you are from Ada, Shai, Osudoku, Krobo, Ada, Ningo, Pram Pram. So please make it a habit to be coming home from time to time and come and take part in the development of Dangme land. I wanted this opportunity to tell you that our customs and tradition, our Dangme customs and traditions are not fetish, are not satanic. They are what makes us Dangmes or Krobos, Gans. And therefore we should um, um, embrace them. We should hold them highly. We should see them as what makes us. We should stop trying to, see them as demonic, satanic, and we should see them as, something our ancestors has instituted for us to keep us, to make us, give us identity. So I'm taking this opportunity to urge all of you who have issues with certain aspects of our Dangme culture to think again, rethink again, because that's what makes us Dangme. That's what makes us dance. Without that, we cease to be GaDangmes. I want to urge all of you the next time, if you're giving birth to your next boy or girl, try to name the child in the Dangme way, typical Dangme way, like the way I've narrated. I'm not saying you should take the child to church, but you try the traditional one too. After that, you can go to church. You see how the difference. I thank all Dangme people. Listen to me. I'm your brother, son, and loved one, Isaac Tamatey Otu. I hope to come your way again next time.
Thank you very much for your time and for teaching us. I've learnt a lot of new things today because prior today I didn't know much about the Dangme naming ceremony, but I'm grateful that you've given your time and shared with us the beauty of the Dangme culture and the importance of following our culture. So we will be back soon with another topic and I'll see you soon. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask in future, do send them in, and then for future programs, we'll have them answered for you. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Take care. Bye.